Straight to the top, moving like clock, we be them champions. I got a draw, ball in the box, we be them champions. I'm repping the squad, badge on the top, we be the champions.
Yes, my people, you know what time it is. It's your boy Trunkie on the Chat with Champions, the official Champions Challenge campaign pod show. We've got a big episode with a very special guest on it today. Can't wait to get into it. Trust me, we're talking about some serious stuff within football, society, proper things people don't want to talk about on your mainstream, but this is mainstream. We're talking about real issues. But before all of that, we're going to get into a little drill thought up by Maxi Ace as well. Shout out my G, my brother. And yeah, man, it's about keeping physical, keeping your mental going through this whole lockdown, interacting with one person in your household or whatever. Just stay within your guidelines, man. Tell you to go and do nothing stupid. But yeah, man, just keep active, keep going. So we're going to be doing that first. And then we'll get into the real nitty gritty. Let's get it. Okay, yes. Okay, boom. You don't know I ain't playing no games. I got my jersey on, got my coat off. It's chapping, but listen, we're going to show you a little drill brought to you by Maxi Ace. Thought of this one, so it's banging. Just hopefully keep your mind right at the same time as keeping the... Maxi thought of it. He's saying he didn't think of it. It's probably out there already. This is our drill, Champions Challenge, pod show, chat with champions. You saw it here first. You ain't seen it nowhere else. Okay, but anyway, basically, one to keep the mental good. Just keep it going, keep you switched on, keep the footwork there as well. We got to number the cones. So this is 0 here. You always reset back to 0. Got number 1 cone there, number 2 cone behind you, number 3 to my right, number 4 to my left. Server calls a number, go to the cone, whichever number it is. On the floor, left foot. We'll go left foot. Yeah, we'll go one touch. We'll just go left foot or right foot. Back to the middle, another number, boom. We'll progress it afterwards. We'll be changing numbers around and that, so it just keeps you on your toes, keeps you ticking over. Okay, let's get into this.
So we say with 1.
Saying 1, 2, 3, 4.
1.
Back to reset.
1. 3.
Set.
2.
Set.
That's 4 in it.
When? Hey! I know. Let me throw 5 press ups in. Hey, we put some extra ones. See your forfeit. Back to the reset. He forgot as well, blood. That's free, bro. Hey! Yeah, keep going, keep rolling. Oh, I don't know where I went there. Where I went there, boy.
Nice. 3.
Yeah! The 7's not ready. Boom. One more. Let's go. Forward.
1.
Straight to the top, moving like clock, we be them champions. I got a drop, ball in the box, we be them champions. We be the champions.
All right. Woo. I'm gonna chuck a little progression in here. So let's we'll progress it. Same numbers. I was gonna switch the numbers, yeah, but I ain't trying to embarrass myself anymore. So same numbers, progress it now. 1 touch. We'll go in the air. Again, either right foot, left foot. I'm gonna try and get some right foot ones in there. Feeling like Messi with this left foot right now. But yeah, let's go. That's right. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Give me some more. Okay, guys. Just a little something. Keep you going. Lockdown. Do it against a wall. Another partner. Family, mum, dad, sisters, cousins, whatever. Woo! Dog. It's a workout, trust me. Keeps your mind going, keeps you doing something. Every episode, we'll think of a new one. Come with something new you ain't ever seen before. I think. But yeah, we're gonna go into something that's proper. This next chat we got, I already spoke about in the intro. Let's just get to it. Yeah, thank you for being on the show, the Chat with Champions show.
My pleasure.
Yeah, finding the time. I really do appreciate that. Got to shout out my brother as well, that you was talking to him from early. One thing I also want to say as well. Yeah, from then, and you found a lot of time for us from early, which I think is amazing because, you know what I mean, we sometimes it's hard to be heard. And for somebody like yourself on your platform to give us that time and stuff, we really do appreciate it.
No worries at all. No worries.
Yeah, before we get into the nitty gritty, just for the next, 30 seconds to a minute, just explain who you are and what you're doing and etc.
Well, I don't know if I can fit all that in 30 seconds, but my name's Troy Townsend. I work as the head of development for Kick It Out. My main feature at Kick It Out is education, to be honest, in terms of I educate into the academy environments. So anyone from 9 to 23, staff and parents. But obviously, I'm a voice, and I'm a voice because of what continues to happen on our football pitches, in our arenas, and obviously increasingly now on social media. So I get wheeled out quite a lot to talk about the horrible part and the impact on our, particularly our black players. But I think you mentioned something earlier there, Trunkie, where, a lot of people have a voice, and sometimes I have to channel that voice through people that have. And I understand and truly appreciate the platform that I have to help others with my voice.
No, thank you so much. I mean, another thing I'll touch on a little bit later is just even how you deal with having all this weight on your shoulders and how it affects your mental health, because being a leader is not easy, because you know what I mean. But
well, you know what? It's nice you've appreciated that, because I don't think many people do, to be totally honest. So it's really nice that you've appreciated that and acknowledged that, and yeah, we can have a discussion about that during the course of. Definitely.
Thank you. First thing I wanted to get into, obviously talking about the whole the race issue, so to speak, in football and stuff like that. Again, you've been doing this for a long time. Do you feel that, not that this time, because there never has been like a start or stop, but do you feel like a different kind of energy with recently the way things have going on? Obviously all the players coming out and speaking about it, not that they haven't before, but for me personally, I've kind of felt like it's really picked up globally. Do you feel the same? Or
I think it depends where you want that energy to come from, and absolutely, since the unfortunate murder of George Floyd, but the unlawful murder of George Floyd.
Yeah.
And, globally, people taking on and appreciating what Black Lives Matter meant to them. Yeah. Of course, I've seen so many more people talk, so many of our players empowered to speak up. They're not always black. They don't have the experiences, but they want to talk up about why they're doing certain things and talking in this space. I felt the energy around the world, of people being empowered to talk about their experiences, to talk about their challenges, and to kind of almost explain why they support, the impact of the inequality that racism has brought for far too long, in society, but obviously in our beautiful game, as we apparently call it, football. So, yeah, I have been empowered, because it can be a lonely journey. And sometimes you think that players are not by design, but they're robotic, because the clubs don't want them to speak out on these social issues. The club would rather let someone else say it, and, not you. It's not on our watch. I think that's why I've been so empowered. And maybe it's encountered because we have been in a space where you have so much more accessibility to players as well now.
Yes.
Because they're at home and, they're going on loads of podcasts, loads of Zoom meetings, and they're speaking their truth. And our truth should never be silenced, you know. And for me,
100%.
this is the biggest thing that has happened, is the fact that we're hearing the truths and people are resonating. That happened to me. That's what I'm going through.
Yeah.
That's the experience I had, you know. And to hear it from a professional footballer who's obviously at the highest of the height, you kind of go, well, actually, you know what? We're all human and we're all dealing with it, and we all have our experiences. And that's what's been most powerful for me over this period of time.
I love that. That's a round of applause there. That's amazing. No, that's
Ain't even started yet.
Yeah,
Don't start with the applause.
you know
I
what I
haven't
mean?
started yet.
Don't worry, we're getting a few of those. But yeah, I mean, touching on that point about, I love what you said about our truth shouldn't be silenced, because I feel like even when I watched the Anton Ferdinand documentary and stuff, and it was definitely something that I thought, yeah, that's really good. And even hearing his situation about how he didn't speak about it straight away, but then you, from the outside, you don't really know, but there's so much pressures from inside to come out and talk, because you think about your career, you think about the impact it's going to have, other people, from sponsors, loads of stuff. So I think just now watching that and seeing that, it definitely will inspire everybody, regardless of what walk of life you're in.
The thing is, Trunkie, and I hope you don't mind me cutting across there, but
No, please.
Anton went through so much 9 years ago. And to be fair, I had an honest conversation with Anton, right? And, some of it was picked up right at the end of the doc. But there were people that were around Anton at the time, football clubs, managers, teammates, whatever. You're telling me they couldn't tell what he was going through?
Yeah.
It affected his performance. It affected his ability to apply his trade, the thing that he'd worked so hard to do.
It's his job.
And in one incident, just like that, he's struggling. And I cannot believe, and I don't know if you noticed, there was a bit there from Neil Warnock. He said, we noticed.
Yeah, but
what did they do about it?
Yeah.
They didn't do nothing about it. They just he's probably struggling. No, he's been racially abused.
Yeah.
And he's been targeted then on social media platforms, and he's having to go to court. And you, man, said you noticed signs in him and you didn't talk to him about it. But all you're doing is talking to him about it because he's now got a documentary and he's knocked on your door and said, can I talk to you about what happened to me 9 years ago?
It's more than what Terry did.
Well, let's not get there.
Yeah.
Let's not get there for now, yeah? Because, I listen.
Hey.
He had an opportunity.
Yes.
He had an opportunity to do the right thing.
Yes.
And Anton was very open about, I would embrace him.
Yes.
What happened, but we're going to move forward, be the better man. And I think what John Terry showed, and whoever it is that is behind him, showed that they didn't want to be the better people.
Yeah.
And they wanted to leave it in the past because John's on a different journey now.
And that's the thing as well that I wanted to touch on, as you said. It's listen, when I say we all make mistakes, sometimes you can sit here when you go through it and think racism isn't a mistake, but it's about education and about people learning and people saying, you know what, back then, or how I thought then wasn't right, but it was the norm amongst that sort of circle or whatever. But as you said, now it's about everybody taking that step forward, and even people who maybe thought differently before to say, you know what, hold my hands up. I wasn't educated enough. I didn't understand this enough. And that's, I think, the problem here is who is doing enough and who isn't doing enough. I mean, if we're allowed to touch on it, I know you mentioned about, I think briefly in the Anton Ferdinand case with the whole FA and not being allowed to speak with certain players and stuff. And I know they put out a statement or something like that. But I mean, I was about to ask you, has that improved? Are they working better now with yourselves or?
Well, listen, it's only been a couple of months.
Mm-hmm.
And listen, that statement that they put out, it's funny that you mentioned that, because that statement that they put out, it's a 57-minute documentary, by the way, yeah?
Yeah.
And I was in that documentary for 2 minutes and 20 plus whatever it was seconds, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Their statement that they put out chose to attack me. So ignore all of Anton's experience for 54 minutes plus and attack me. So we had a call, I don't know if it was a week later. And they were expressing why they made their statement. And I don't care where this goes, because honestly, I don't. I was going to use some words there, which I should never use, but listen, I don't care.
Honesty is the policy.
Yeah, I know, but I'm trying to stay professional while I let my anger part of it go back here. But you know, and they were telling me everything that they were telling me. And I just said to them, but you attacked me. You attacked me. You mentioned me by name. You didn't even go, you mentioned me by name. And as far as I'm concerned, what you said is false, not what I said. I know what I believe. I've been working here for 10 years. I know that I'm not supposed to directly challenge players, talk to players because of some FA rule. But we've got the rule. Yeah, but you didn't give it to the producers so that they could show on the documentary. So you've got something to hide. And you know, and all the stuttering stars. And then they said to me, I think we got the tone wrong. I said, got the tone wrong. You attacked me. So if I was somebody else and with a backing of millions, I'll take you to court. Because there's a personal slur on my character.
Yeah, defamation.
As Troy Townsend going to take the FA to court when they could get the biggest legal people that they want and crown me? Do you know what I mean? But it's a personal attack. I'm not in this game for personal attacks. I'm in this game to try and help people. Exactly. I'm in this game to speak the truth. I don't make things up. I get nothing out of making things up. I'm not an institution, you know. I'm not a body that actually could have made Anton's experience so much better. Could have made the experience of so many players so much better. So it didn't. Listen, all I'd say about that is that no one believed their statement anyway. So, you know, the wave of support that I had was more than any support they would have. But they have to stick to their guns. It's as simple as that.
But I mean, the thing is, Troy, this is what's mad, as you said. Rather than actually dealing with the issue of the whole documentary and what Anton's going through, and what loads of other black players are going through and probably will go through, for me, it's just what are the next steps? I mean, like, what is it? Is it about getting, because there's a mental health side to this as well. Do you know what I mean? It has such a major effect on the players, and like you said, they're going to work. This is their job. This is what they're doing. And it's bad enough getting the racist abuse from the fans and stuff like that. But in terms of the support and that, how long have we been talking about this? Like, how do you think we can go about implementing, for example, just throwing out there petitions or something? Like, what, do you know what I mean? Because are we going to get some psychologists in there or something?
Right. It's not down to me to provide the solutions. They don't listen to me anyway. There's people in that FA quarters that get paid double, treble what I get paid. So actually, you know, if you don't appreciate and understand the experience of those black players, if you don't understand the trauma that their family goes through, you know, if you don't want to acknowledge and kind of empathize with the fact that they are just in their place of work, that is their place of work, then actually, are you the right people to lead us forward? But remember, this is the FA whose chairman had to be sacked because he's calling black people coloured.
Still.
Yeah? And because he's talking about South Asians preferring to be in the IT suite at the FA. So hold on. All right, he got sacked. But is he the only one that thinks that way? So when they're having their board meetings and having their little chuckle ups, that must be acceptable language and terminology.
Yeah.
Now, we can't, obviously, he said it publicly, so we can nail him. And quite rightly, he's gone.
What's happening behind closed doors?
Right.
And that's when you get into your institutional and your systemic and stuff. And that's another thing as well, which is what I love when you talk, because that's what you touch on. Because people, listen, there's different levels to racism. You got your fans that do that, the monkey stuff and that. And listen, of course, that's offensive, especially if you've got 60,000 fans doing it or whatever. Like the event is that Italian, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
We won't get into that.
Yeah.
But it's the systemic and the institutionalized stuff that I feel people aren't educated on enough. And that's the stuff that I feel now, for me seeing the whole fight, it's been brought to the forefront now. It's public. People want to know about unconscious bias. People want to know about all these things, about even in terms of how black players are commentated on. Is it just physique? Is it intelligence? There's these little nuances that people don't see, and that's all to do with racism. But it's not just all you're this, you're that. Do you know what I mean?
But you know what, Trunkie? It's us. We're having to talk about our experiences to educate these people. You know, you've just said again the way that black players are described. They're only described in certain terminology: athletic, aggressive, power and pace, physique. We never get spoken about as intelligent. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We never get spoken about in the term technical.
Mm-hmm.
And so in that case, then, is it any wonder why we don't have much representation in terms of managerial circles? Because we're spoken about. How many black players play in the 10 role? You know that little cute role, the one we're not allowed to.
Preach.
You know, I don't know about you. When I was growing up, you had to play at the back because you were big and strong,
Or on the
and
wing.
you had to play at the front or on the wing because you were
Yep.
quick.
And you're
Then the
fast.
big boy at the back would smash the ball down the pitch for you. You know, let the black lad get it.
Yeah.
They don't understand the fact that this stuff is not new to us.
Yeah.
This is what we've had to live with. And yet the commentators and that still use those lazy tones to describe us. And listen, I've had to do a lot of work with certain people because I'm telling them, you can't describe us in that way no more.
Yeah.
You know, Adama Toure, his power and pace. What about the rest of his game? You know, the game where he's cute and where he's a little bit tricky.
Yes.
And when he gets himself in a situation, he can wiggle through a couple of players. Why don't you describe him in the same way you describe his white counterpart?
Yeah.
Because you don't see him in that way. So because of that, how they describe us without the intelligence part, when those players then transition out of the game, they're not trusted to get a managerial job because people are saying, well, you know, everything we've heard about you is you're not really intelligent, are you?
Yeah.
How are you going to run my football club? I don't need someone with pace. I need someone with that up there.
Yeah.
And that's the fundamental reason why we don't get opportunities. So anyone that says, lack of black managers, I'll tell you where it stems from. It stems from the stereotypes that have existed for far too long.
Yes.
So,
100%. And
you're getting me on my high horse now.
Nah. Do you know what? It's crazy you touched on that because me and my brother was having this talk the other day because we're football fans or whatever. And I played professionally when we were younger. Me and my brother both did. And it's amazing you said that because look at Eze, for example, yeah. For me, I feel like Eze is technically gifted. He's not in that team because he's super fast or he's super strong. He's intelligent. He's technical. He almost plays like, you know, like Spanish, tiki-taka. He's got that culture to his football. Yeah. But I feel like, and that was kind of how me and my brother used to play in that. We weren't the quickest, but you got pushed out to the wing because you're fast and all that kind of stuff. And I feel like there's probably a lot of other players and with that unconscious bias, and that's not just in football, that's in society, that's everywhere.
No, that's society, yeah.
Yeah, and touching on that point, I think that's something that is an issue that you don't really hear much about. But that's a big thing. Do you know what I mean? That's what they said. It puts you in pockets, it puts you in holes. Do you know what I mean? How many black players?
That's because we're meant to be. You know, it's almost, you know, them ones there. Know your space. You know what I mean? Don't get too above yourself. You know, black people ain't meant to be above a certain level. Yeah. And like you said, that's in all walks of life. If we were to take you through senior leaderships in banks, senior leaderships in the government, senior leadership in footsie, whatever they may be, senior leaderships in boroughs and you know, in other sports, you could name black people and you wouldn't get to 50.
Yeah.
You wouldn't get to 50. And I'm thinking to myself, we're still chatting about that. And we're in 2021 now. We're still chatting about lack of opportunity for black people, for Asian people. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And I tell you what, black women, you know, representation for women is growing. There's representation for black women growing. So there's a lot to kind of dissect, and it makes it uncomfortable for those people who have sat comfortably for far too long.
And benefited off the system.
Yeah. Now, what we're saying is, we don't want your job. Well, keep your job. But you know what? We deserve places. So keep your job. If you think that I'm coming for your job, I'm not coming for your job. But you know what? We deserve to be in the same space.
Exactly.
So if you have to create something, or if you have to, whatever it may be, you recognize us for what part we have to play, you know?
100%. 100%, man. And that kind of brings me on to my next point, because the way this is such a global thing and it's so big, it needs to be a united front. And what we're challenging is, it's like a virus, as you said. It's so integrated into the system, into everything. In terms of coming together, the issue I wanted to touch on, which has been a divided thing, is this taking of the knee. Again, for me personally, when I see it, I like it. I like to see. I would love if we could have all 92 teams across the league taking the knee. For me personally, I know some might feel that it is just a publicity stunt, but for my argument, I feel like if that's all you're doing, then it is a publicity stunt. But if we did stop doing that, and then we stopped making the racial issue on the forefront, does it not just get swept under the carpet again?
That's a great question. Let me tell you now. And remember who I work for. Kick It Out, an organisation that's been working in this space for 28 years.
Yeah.
When those players take the knee,
Mm-hmm.
it's the biggest call in regards to racial injustice that has been put on a platform in football, bar none.
Exactly.
Bar none. So when I every time, the silence in the ground, the whistle, the players going down,
It touches. Yes.
It touches me. It has meaning. Now, I will say, I won't judge anybody that wants to do it in another way.
Mm-hmm.
Good friend of mine, Colin Kazim Richards, he stands, fist of respect.
Yes.
There's other players who stand, and I'm not judging. In a matter of fact, I am not judging them, because the only people that are against the taking of the knee and the significance of it, and where, it has kept the conversation going, are the people that absolutely don't want to understand it.
Yes.
They don't want to understand it. They don't want to appreciate it. They're not on this solidarity thing, because there's never been solidarity, and they want things to remain the same.
Mm-hmm.
They don't like talking about the black experience. They don't like talking about how players have been victimized for decades. Do you know what I mean? So, here we go. Black Lives Matter again.
That
Do you know what I mean? And that's where you get all those descending voices. Mm-hmm. Because they don't like talking about the black experience. We've done it now. Can we not move on to something else? Well, no, we can't, because the problem has existed forever and a day. So for me, those voices, as far as I'm concerned, let them keep talking Black Lives Matter, keep throwing it in their faces, because fundamentally they are the problem.
Yes.
But when you said about they need to be educated, they are educated. Let's give them their due. They are educated. Mm-hmm. They're just not educated with the same beliefs that a good person has.
Yeah.
So they are educated. We all have education, good, bad, indifferent, not enough, whatever. But they're just not educated with the same beliefs that the world should be equal.
Yes.
As far as they're concerned, and many of these people, I have to say, are white, feel that white is the dominant force and always had been, and they're not ready for change. So that's the kind of me, take the knee every day, but I'm not holding it against the players if they don't, because they're doing it to respect it in another way.
Of course.
But absolutely keep the focus around the conversation and do not let it die.
100%. Round of applause for that. Hey, the gems in this one, man. And this has been, this is what we wanted. It's a real talk. It's stuff people don't want to hear. People don't want to talk about. One thing I've noticed with this whole, especially when you're talking about race, it is uncomfortable. Like I was talking to my friend the other day, and I was talking about how she was having D&I discussions in her particular workplace, and I said, if it ain't making people feel uncomfortable and ain't making people question the way they think or the way society makes them think, then for me, it ain't a good enough D&I call. Do you know what I mean?
You know what? You expect people to be uncomfortable now. I've got to say that, while I've said a lot of things that I've knocked people, I'm also, I'm delivering education. So at the moment, the education is via Zoom, like this platform. And a lot of it, particularly with the younger age groups, 9 to 12, their parents are sitting in as well. That would never happen in a football environment. So I've got to say how massive that has been for me, seeing parents sitting in with their parents, sitting in with their young ones, asking questions, answering questions about racism, seeing the impact of racism, hearing their young ones talk about racism, the whole mix. And I've been flooded with messages by parents who said, we've always spoken to our son about, equality and being equal, but the way you put it, it's been amazing. Another one, we've had an uncomfortable conversation after we got off the Zoom call with our son, and just as a family.
Yeah.
And I think that's all I want. That's all I want.
Yes.
And there will be some who will go, I'm switching off my camera, man. I don't want to hear none of that. But they're going to have to hear it. They're going to have to listen to it.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's those that feel it, that want to understand it, and maybe want to better themselves, who actually take on board. And they don't even have to remember my name. They don't. I remember that guy that came on and spoke. I don't care if they don't. As long as they're having
take away the
conversation,
message. Yes,
then that's all we can leave them with.
No, 100%, and that's exactly what we're doing. Like I said, I mean, you've been alive longer, so been in the fight longer. But when just everything, of course, the unfortunate death of George Floyd made that happen. But I just feel this has just been different. It's just felt different. I feel that even, like you said, the rise in the social media abuse, I feel that has been a result of the good and the amount of people that have supported, and people really have their backup now. They're seeing big organizations support it. And yes, there is more that needs to be done. It's not just about the PR or the advert and stuff, but it's a first step in the right direction. And it's about applying pressure now on, for example, your Twitters, your Facebooks. Yeah.
Listen, Trunkie, let me tell you now, there ain't no pressure that anyone's going to apply that's going to make those social media companies change what they do. These are the same companies, that, when everyone was posting Black Lives Matter on their screens, that were posting Black Lives Matter. So all of a sudden, Twitter changes its profile pic. Instagram has a pinned tweet, changes profile pic. And it's the same platforms that allow monkey, gorilla, ape, banana emojis aimed at black people with certain language and say, yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. So I'd rather them people stop lying to us. Yeah. Don't put Black Lives Matter up on their logo and tell us that absolutely we are not making change because our platform is for freedom of speech. Let them just tell. And you know what? Then we can stop going on every news outlet and saying they need to do more. Because they ain't changing for us. They ain't changing for us. So
then
the quicker we recognise that, the better.
And even then, you say freedom of speech. It's against the law. It's abuse. It's racial discrimination. So
why is this American company not being held to account? Because what is happening on their platforms is against the law. When President Trump started to go stupid and started to tweet everything under the sun, right? They shut down his account quickly, didn't they? They shut down the whole of Australia the other day, Facebook. So, they can if they want to. But absolutely, it helps them. How much money do you think they're making on the back of us all criticising them? How much money do you think they're making on the back of us going, it's outrageous, it's this, front page news again, stocks go up, everything, you know what, they're all going like this. Happy days, money's going up again. They're not making no changes. They're not thinking about us. But they really understand the hurt that we go through every time we have to talk about racism. How many black people in senior positions in those organisations? So for me, we've got no chance of changing them. No chance of changing them. Unless in America, they come down hard on them and they tell them that you need to make your platform fit for purpose for every user from every different background so that they can feel comfortable with coming on there.
Yeah, there needs to be sanctions. There needs to be sanctions. And that's not, like I said, that's with the social media thing. And that's not even just that. That's even with football. I mean, the other day, I think, what's it? The Ian Wright issue? Some guy abused Ian Wright. Was it? And what? He got off? The judge made him get off? Like...
Well, he's from Ireland. He's from Ireland. And you know what? Because everyone knows Wright has got a good heart, yeah? Everyone knows. So Wright is forgiving him, almost forgiving him publicly, but knowing that the boy's got to go through a process. But see, the judge is smart. Judge is saying, oh, right, Ian Wright said that, that. So I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll let him off. That's not how you're supposed to run the law. You're supposed to run the law on facts. Did he racially abuse and threaten Ian Wright and his family? Yes. What would be the normal consequences for someone, I don't care what age they are, who racially abuses and threatens a family? Those consequences are imprisonment or suspended sentence.
Yeah.
But the judge decided to ignore all that and say, well, Ian Wright said, I'm all right with it now. I've forgiven him. So I tell you what, I'm going to let him walk free. He's suffered enough. Let him walk free. That's how embarrassing even our legal system is when it comes to acts of threatening behaviour and racism that we've all said is hate crime. It's hate crime when they want it, it's nothing when they don't.
Yeah. I mean, I was about to say, can the government do more? But I'm sure we know the answer to that question. You know what I mean?
Have you seen our government?
Listen.
Have you seen our government? When Matt Hancock's talking about taking a knee, and I don't take a knee for nobody apart from my wife. And you've got that Priti Patel saying, what the government stance is. So what chance have we got? How many black people you see in the government? I remember them asking Matt one Sunday morning. I don't even watch Sky News on a Sunday morning because it's pure politics and stupidness. But I saw this piece where they asked Matt Hancock how many black people you got in your government. My man stuttered for the next 5 minutes because he knew he didn't have any. No. And he went, oh, we've got some 8. No. The woman said, how many black people have you got? And the man couldn't answer the question. So with all that foolishness, I don't even know how them man they get away with being in their posts. I don't know, but you know,
this is what
Boris
I mean.
loves him and whatever else. I don't know.
It's crazy, man. This is what I mean. And as much as, not that I ever sit here and say I'm never going to fight or I'm never going to talk about it. I'm always going to talk about it. I'm always going to speak it. It's not just for us. And that's the thing. It's for other people. It's for that person who maybe doesn't have a big character or a big voice who gets it from hearing us. But when you, like you said, when you look at every sort of structure of society and you're being let down everywhere, it's so daunting, especially again from the mental health side of things. And that's what I wanted to just touch on quickly as well with yourself. I mean, how, not that you're not a mental health advisor or anything, but how do you deal with it? Any ideas how other people can deal, like, because there's a lot that you deal with. You must be talking about this all the time. Sometimes I don't even want to hear about racism because it'll just consume you. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to talk about it, but it's like, if you don't, it's still in your face.
To be honest, Trunkie, I've got to be honest here, and this might not be the answer you want to hear. I don't know how. I don't know how. Just before Christmas, I almost resigned myself to say it's enough. I don't want to do this no more. I can't. It's having such a mental impact, emotional impact. I felt that my voice was just nothing. And obviously I said I was getting attacked from the FA, and I just felt I don't need this in my life anymore. I've done everything that I've tried to do to make change. I do it different to other people. Other people are saying, you know, let's get together, community and this. And I know that doesn't exist. So I do it differently by challenging, by talking up, by speaking out, and by providing a platform for people. And that weighs heavy. It does. And I can't even say to you that I tear myself away from it, because, you know, even on the days that I'm supposed to be having a little bit of downtime, an incident's going to blow up. And I'm, like you said, you can't go quiet. You can't. I'll tell you what I did a mental health course. So you said I'm not a mental health activist, but I did a mental health course just after Christmas. It brought up a lot of emotions.
Applause for that. Yes.
It brought up a lot of emotions. I struggled a bit during it, to be honest, but I need to look after myself as well. So I wanted to understand what ways I could look after myself, because no one else out there is, you know. And I don't think anyone that works as intently in this space as I do will be able to explain to you how they keep going. I think we keep going because we know there's a million people under us that need us, because they're not able to talk in this space, you know.
You give us energy. Like, if you ever do think you want to stop and that, listen, for your mental health and for your well-being, of course, but don't ever feel guilty if you did. But every time you wake up in the morning and you do, like, you inspire everybody. Trust me, you inspire us.
But you see what you said there, don't feel guilty. That's probably the thing I do. Whenever there's a story and I hear a player that's, you know, felt let down, or a parent that's at loose ends, I personally feel, maybe other people don't, but I personally feel like I've let them down. You know, there's one thing me saying X, Y, and Z, and there's another thing people saying, well, Troy said it, can he deliver it? And if I can't deliver it because I'm just a man who's trying to influence many, and many that don't look like me, I feel like I've let them down. I've been let down. So I've experienced being let down, even by my own organization, for not supporting me in various situations.
Yeah.
My teams have been racially abused. I've been racially abused. I feel that unconscious bias within football labeled at me at times. You know, and there's not many people like me. There's not many black people in those positions that can see it. I've been in a boardroom where, I'm not being funny, an older gentleman told me, oh, my best friend's black. What a way to introduce yourself to me. And I said to him, what's his name? And he couldn't remember his name. Basically, he made up the story.
Just to start talking.
Yeah, just to start
Just
talking.
to break the ice. We got something in common.
Why don't you just introduce yourself to me? Hi, I'm Troy, whatever your name is, and we work from there. But the man literally said to me, my best friend's black. And honestly, I looked at him, I just went, yeah, what's his name? And he's like, and I'm like, why introduce yourself like that to me?
Yeah.
And if that is not the biggest form of someone who almost like doesn't know how to talk to people of a different color, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or a different race. So he just thinks, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll say black and I, you know, just talk to me. I'm a human being.
Yes.
I'm a human being. Just talk to me. But I can't tell you enough how many people fear. And it is fear that open conversation, because I'm not supposed to be on their level. You know, I wear when I was working, I've been working at home for 10 months. I wear a suit nearly every single day with a shirt. The only thing I won't do is press that tie up against my throat. I'm just got a little open neck thing. Do you know what I mean? But I'm not being funny. I look as good as the next man. Do you know what I mean? So, and I remember going into this organization. I won't tell you who they were because it would be wrong. But I remember going in. I'm wearing, I like blue. So I'm wearing a blue suit, brown belt, brown shoes. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Put a little essence on as well. And everything all right. You know what I'm saying?
Turn up.
I'm walking into this building, right? This building's glass all over it. I don't know, 100 and how many floors, but whatever, I don't know. And people are judging me. They're looking at, now, I'm telling you now, I'm walking with a little bit of something because I know I look good in my teens.
Yes.
But people are looking me up and down and judging me as if he don't belong here. I think to myself, but what the? I'm clean. I don't smell. I wash underneath my armpit.
You know?
Do you know what I mean? I brush back the little piece of hair I got. Why are people looking? And they're looking at me because of the color of my skin.
Yeah.
As if I don't deserve to be in a building that obviously costs a hell of a lot of money, in a business that obviously churns up a lot of money, and I don't look like them. So what chance have we got? People I cannot tell you enough. Man, woman, I think even a dog walked past and looked at me. They don't respect us. They don't respect us. And that's the thing for me, because the minute these people look at me, I look back at them.
Yeah.
And they look away straight away. They look away straight away. No, because I'm thinking, well, who are you looking at? Because you can't be looking at me because like I've got a hole in my trousers or I dress funny, because I dress just like the man them. So when they look, I look back hard. And they kind of then just don't want to make eye contact.
Yeah.
Well, then don't look at me then.
Yeah.
Do you know, that frustrates me. That proper frustrates me. Because the only thing you could be saying is, that black guy over there, what have I done anything to you? What have I done?
Yeah.
And if I experience it, imagine how many of our people experience it as well. And maybe, don't challenge it or don't know how to challenge it or even that stare that I give, won't stare, they're intimidated, let's say. That's not fair. We shouldn't have to be walking around being intimidated, thinking that we're not equal, that we're not as good as. But so why do people have that in their psyche to do that? I'm sorry, I'm on my soapbox. I'm on my soapbox. I can't understand.
Honestly, Troy, it's been that it's amazing. And the bit I love there is when you said, like you said, you stare back. It's that confidence you have to have in yourself. And that's what this is about, and that's what I love what you're doing and what you keep doing. It's that confidence that you're installing in the other people that are watching you. And now is, if there's ever been a right time to do it, honestly, it's now, and you're doing it.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean. We're grateful every day. Do you know what I mean? Because I know it's a weight on your shoulders, but we're grateful. And to anyone else out there as well who's been fighting it for ages, all generations, we're so grateful. And we can still sit back, and what's nice is even when you hear, like, we can still sit back and we can laugh about it. Because if you don't laugh about it, sometimes you just cry. What do you do? Do you know what I mean? So we can still sit back and you just look at them. Sometimes you just have to laugh at them.
Okay, I ain't gonna lie. And yeah, we do laugh, but I ain't gonna lie. I'll tell you this for now. Have I got emotional because of this game on the work that I do? I've got emotional.
Of course.
I've been to the point where, you know what, I shut the door behind me and I don't want anyone to see because I'm raging. Do you know what I mean? I'm shaking. I'm rage. I've been to the point where, listen, I'm proper like that. Just drop a tear and I'm having to wipe away. And I'm not scared of that no more. I'm not afraid of that. Whereas before we were taught to be, don't be weak. You have to give it. I'm not afraid of that at all. I'm not afraid because I'm not in this thing because I'm passionate, as people like to tell me. Oh, you're really passionate, aren't you? And then rub you on your head. No, I'm not passionate. I'm not passionate. I've been affected by it. My family have been affected by it. My good people have been affected by it. My people's people. So it's not passion. It's the fact that I've been hurt. I've been affected by racism. And if you can't understand that, the problem is you, not me. So if I do show a little piece of emotion because you know what, I'm tearing up inside, go on, judge it if you want. Judge it if you want, but I don't care. I don't care. So I think people know enough about me now to know, do you know what, we can't shake that brother, he ain't easy. And I'll never show them because they're the ones that are looking for weakness. But if I need to have a moment and I need to, I've got a few people who will say, Troy, just let it all out, and even then I don't want to, but I will, because I'm a human. Again, I'll say it again. We are humans. And you know how long people have not been describing us as humans because we're either monkeys or we're something that they don't think that
Just dehumanized.
you know, we
all the
should be.
time.
Yeah, we've been dehumanized. I'm a human being. So is my brother. So is my people. Then we're all humans, but it's just that we've got a different color to us. And if you can't
Yes.
embrace that color, if you can't kind of acknowledge the fact that although we're different, because when I grew up, my friends were everything. They were everything. White, mixed race, Turkish,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Asian. That's just my boy.
Same.
And it's frustrating. It's frustrating that there's people that would judge you not on your ability, not on what you bring to the table, not on what you comes out of your mouth, but on the color of your skin. You know. Damn.
Troy, we'll keep pushing. We're gonna keep pushing, and again, we're inspired by yourself. We're inspired by others like you, role models, which is what not just black boys and girls need. Everybody needs positive role models because at the end of the day, like you said, it's about doing the right thing. Do you know what I mean? So what I'm going to do though, because I know you're a football man, and I want to end this about football. Because I saw one of your things before and I heard you saying sometimes you don't even get to talk about football anymore. So I want to end this on a few football questions, just a few things. Because like I said, I saw done your coaching badges as well young. I've done a couple of my coaching badges. I saw it and I thought, you know what? I did my coaching badges young and I kind of stopped. I want to get back on it again. I feel like my mind's right to get back on it again. I saw the video and I thought, yes, this is, do you know what I mean? But quick one. Who's winning the league?
League's done and dusted. You know what? If you had asked me that question 5 weeks ago, we could have gone, boy, it could be. League is done and dusted. Pep has got their man there on a level. Man City are on a level. Everyone, it's funny because at the start of the season, everyone's belittling Man City. You know, I look at them, they're 14th, you know, they're 15th. Oh, they're not playing well and this, that. Man City have gone, do you know what? Tump.
Yeah.
Tumping everybody up now. They still play the best football in the league. They've got the best manager in the league. The way that they cut teams open at times, the way that they dissect different situations. You know, they battered Liverpool the other day. And I know Liverpool are not the Liverpool, you know, of last season and that, but they took no pity on Liverpool.
It's true.
And when you can take no pity on your closest rival,
You're a
that
different
shows
level.
you how bad you are as a team. Yeah, it
Yes.
shows you how bad you are as a team. And, you know, who would ever thought that Man City would have a defence that wouldn't concede goals? So Pep gets cussed quite a lot, you know. He's this is only because he's got loads of money. This Pep knows what he wants.
They've been stable.
You know, there's no way of. I can't understand people that don't like football played in the way that they play football.
Same.
So yeah, they're done. Man City have done the league. And you can hold me to that. I don't care. It's February. I don't care. You can hold me to that.
Okay, cool. Whee! All right, cool. Who's top player? When's the PFA stuff? The PFA is soon, innit? Who's your PFA player? Would you say of yes, difficult one. This one, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a difficult one, and you got me on that one.
And then throw the young one in afterwards as well. Throw your PFA young player in afterwards.
there'll be people going for Bruno Fernandes. I look at Fernandes slightly differently, you know. There's no denying that he's changed that man. One man has changed that whole team. You take him out of the team, they're not the same. You put him back in the team, they got something a little bit different. There's no denying that he has made such a big influence. But when you're a big player like that, sometimes people don't look into the things that are I don't know, like negative towards their game. So I only talk about the positives.
Yeah.
Bruno Fernandes gives the ball away a hell of a lot.
Yes.
A hell of a lot.
He tries a lot that doesn't work.
Yeah, but because in a moment he can do that, they've forgotten about that. So, listen, I thought Kevin De Bruyne until he got injured was again showing everyone that he was on a level. You look at Salah, people criticize Salah, but yet he's still putting the ball in the back of the net.
Yeah.
You criticize the man, he's still scoring goals. So I've given you a few options there. I'm trying to think of who's Bakary Saka is mashing it up, but I can't give nothing to an Arsenal man. So
Yeah.
I'll go Phil Foden for the young player. Phil
Yeah.
Foden would be for me for the young player. And do you know what? I'm going to go. I think they will go for Bruno Fernandes. I think it's not my choice, But I'm going to give you the choice that I think ultimately they will go. His numbers, there's no denying his numbers are off the scale. There's no denying that. But I think they'll go for Bruno Fernandes. And like I said, for me, the Young Player Award is a nonsense because it's opened up until they're about 20. You might as well be 27 and still getting Young Player of the Year. But for me, you should be 21 and under. And there should be a classification of, I don't know, 20 games or something like that. But Phil Foden at the moment, every time he steps on the pitch, he looks like a confident brother. I'll tell you, not an outsider, but one that will obviously challenge Fernandes, but I don't think will get it, will be Jack Grealish. Because he's stepped up to a level this season and then obviously gone into England as well.
Gundogan, what do you reckon?
I'll go for Fernandes, but De Bruyne, Grealish, Saka, they're all in the mix.
Okay.
I think Fernandes will get it.
Okay, we'll stick with that. Well, that was amazing. Just a quick round of
long response.
That was amazing. So let's say again for the listeners, Troy Townsend, kick it out. If you don't know, you should know. If you don't know, get to know. Doing so much for the people, so much for the community. And yeah, man, we appreciate having you on the pod show. We'll put all the socials up there as well. So everyone go and follow up. You know what I mean? Take heed of what's happening, man, because this is we're serious, man, and we're gonna make change, and we're not gonna stop. We're not gonna stop, you know. And as if one man does take a break, and next man picks up the baton and runs with it. So but yeah, Troy, thank you so much. We really appreciate having you on the show.
Bless, Trunkie.
Stay safe, stay happy,
me,
stay healthy.
Absolute
yeah.
bless.
Cheers. God bless, my man.
Will do. Take care.
Yes, my peoples. That's episode done. Hope you enjoyed it. All the nitty gritty, the realness, the honesty. That's all you get on this pod show. Got to shout out Troy Townsend, the special guest, the champion. Really enjoyed your company, bro. Lovely guy. Subscribe, hit the bell, follow, all of the above. We'll be back again with another episode. Special guest on there as well. We've got that lined up too. So make sure you guys are tuning in. And yeah, man, stay safe, stay happy, stay blessed, stay healthy. We out.
Straight to the top, moving like clock, we be them champions. I got a draw, ball in the box, we be them champions. I'm repping the squad, badge on the top, we be the champions. Getting them gone, I bang on the up, just like a champion. Straight to the top, moving like clock, we be them champions. I got a draw, ball in the box, we be them champions. I'm repping the squad, badge on the top, we be the champions. Getting them gone, I bang on the up, just like a champion. See the way that I manage this team. Always getting hella messy out here. See the way that we damage your team. Always getting hella techie out here. See the way we dismantle your team. On the field we just bang on the green. You might image a man on the screen. Like bundle the talk, blood you ain't carry, never low carry a coach. 8 balls, better back it up, bro. That ain't 10 yards, better back it up. 10 on the pass that I package to bro. On the move.